Imagine a place in America where there's no government, no rent, and no rules. Sounds like freedom, right? But this isn't some tropical paradise. It's Slab City, a remote desert community where survival depends entirely on your grit. Here, freedom comes with a cost. No water, no electricity, and no safety net. Would you thrive in this off-the-grid utopia, or would it push you to your limits? Welcome back to our channel, where we take you to the world's most intriguing and jaw-dropping places. Today, we're uncovering the untamed world of Slab City, California, a community where laws don't apply, money isn't required, and life operates on the edge of chaos. Stick around, because this isn't just a story about survival. It's a glimpse into what happens when people abandon the system and create their own way of life. The origins of Slab City, a forgotten military past. Slab City's story starts in the early 1940s. At that time, World War II was raging, and the U.S. military needed places to train soldiers. The deserts of southeastern California seemed like the perfect spot. They were empty, harsh, and far away from cities. In 1942, the military built Camp Dunlap, a Marine Corps training base just outside the small town of Neend, California. The camp was made to prepare soldiers for desert warfare. It had barracks, repair shops, mess halls, and large water tanks. To support all of this, the military poured huge concrete slabs as foundations for buildings and other facilities. These slabs would later become the defining feature of the area. At its busiest, Camp Dunlap was full of life, with thousands of Marines training there. They learned how to survive in extreme heat and harsh desert conditions. But by 1945, the war was ending, and the camp was no longer needed. It was shut down, and most of the structures were torn down or removed. All that remained were the concrete slabs, left behind in the empty desert. For years, the site was abandoned and forgotten. The desert slowly reclaimed the area, and the slabs became a strange relic of the past. Occasionally, someone would stumble across them and wonder what they were for. No one could have predicted that this abandoned military site would one day become a home for people looking to escape society. So how did a forgotten military base turn into a lawless city? The first settlers escaping society. In the 1960s, the first people started moving to the slabs. They weren't tourists or developers. They were drifters, outcasts, and people who didn't fit into the mainstream world. For them, the slabs were more than just concrete. They represented freedom. Many of the first settlers were veterans, especially those who had served in World War II or the Korean War. These veterans often struggled to adjust to normal life after returning from war. They found comfort in the isolation of the desert, where they could be left alone. Others came to escape the growing rules and expectations of American society. The 1960s were a time of great change, with protests, counterculture movements, and people questioning authority. For some, the slabs were a way to break free from societal pressures and live on their own terms. Living at the slabs wasn't easy. The desert environment was harsh, with summer temperatures often reaching 120 degrees Fahrenheit, 49 degrees Celsius. There was no running water, no electricity, and no medical care. But for the settlers, these challenges were worth it. They built makeshift shelters out of scraps, like old wood, metal, and tarps. Some dug small wells or collected rainwater. Others repurposed old military equipment left behind from Camp Dunlap. Despite the challenges, the settlers started forming a small community. They shared resources and helped each other survive. One early resident, a Vietnam War veteran named Carl, explained why he stayed. "I didn't belong in the world out there, but here it's simple. No one tells you what to do, and you live your way." As time went on, more people arrived. Artists, musicians, and free spirits saw the slabs as a blank canvas. They painted murals, created sculptures, and turned the once bleak site into something unique. The slabs became a place of creativity and self-expression. But with no rules or government, life on the slabs also had its risks. As more people arrived, Slab City became both a haven and a place full of challenges. Life in Slab City today, a tale of two worlds. Fast forward to the present, and Slab City has evolved into a community of contrasts. On one hand, it's a place of artistic expression, self-reliance, and an almost spiritual embrace of freedom. On the other, it's a harsh, chaotic environment where the absence of rules creates conflict and danger. Let's break down the two sides of this coin. The freedom. For many, Slab City represents true liberation. There are no bills to pay, no landlords to chase you for rent, and no laws dictating what you can or cannot do. Art flourishes in the desert. Slab City is home to stunning creations like Salvation Mountain, a Technicolor hill covered in murals and Bible verses, built by a man named Leonard Knight over decades. Nearby, the community of East Jesus is an open-air museum showcasing sculptures made entirely from trash and scrap. A culture of sharing. Despite the lack of formal systems, slabbers have created their own form of barter economy. Goods and services are traded, and events like communal meals and music nights bring people together. Freedom to be yourself. Many residents live out their dreams here, free from the expectations of modern society. For some, it's a chance to pursue art. For others, a place to simply exist without judgment. But what about the flip side of this freedom? The harsh realities. Slab City's lack of rules comes with significant drawbacks. Basic survival is a challenge. With no utilities, residents rely on solar panels for electricity and must haul water from a town 40 minutes away. Summers are brutal, with temperatures reaching over 120 grade 40 Celsius. No healthcare or safety net. Injuries and illnesses are a constant concern. One resident shared, "Out here, if you get hurt, you're on your own." Crime and conflict. The absence of law enforcement means disputes are handled within the community. Theft and violence occur, and residents must navigate a delicate balance between trust and self-protection. Story highlight. One chilling incident involved a newcomer accused of stealing from a neighbor. The community gathered to confront him, and after heated discussions, he was exiled. His departure served as a stark reminder of the community's fragile social fabric. The people of Slab City, stories of hope and struggle. Who chooses to live in such an extreme environment? Slabbers come from all walks of life, and each has a story to tell. A former corporate executive who left her high-paying job to embrace minimalism. She now grows her own food and creates art from recycled materials. A veteran struggling with PTSD who found solace in the desert solitude. A single mother raising her child in Slab City, determined to teach resilience and independence. But not all stories are uplifting. For some, Slab City is a place of last resort, a refuge for those with nowhere else to go. Addiction, mental illness, and poverty are prevalent, and the lack of resources makes these challenges even harder to overcome. What drives these people to stay despite the hardships? The philosophy of Slab City: freedom versus security. At its core, Slab City represents a clash between two fundamental human desires: the need for freedom, the need for security. Slabbers value the ability to live on their own terms, even if it means giving up comforts and safety. But their way of life raises important questions. How much are you willing to sacrifice for freedom? Can a community thrive without rules, or does chaos inevitably take over? These questions lead us to the future of Slab City, a future that's anything but certain. The future of Slab City, will it survive? Slab City's land is owned by the state of California, and there have been discussions about reclaiming it for development. Some fear that Slab City's days are numbered, while others believe it will endure as long as people continue to seek freedom. For now, Slab City remains a living experiment, a testament to the human spirit's resilience and the complexities of life without rules. Slab City is a place of paradoxes. Freedom and hardship, creativity and chaos, hope and despair. It forces us to question what we truly value in life. Would you trade security for freedom? Or does Slab City's lifestyle seem too extreme to consider? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more stories like this one.